In the heart of ancient Greece, when the moon was full and the vines dripped with red gold, mortals would gather to honor a god unlike any other. He wasn't a ruler of storms, nor a king of war, but of something far more intoxicating, far more dangerous: freedom itself. His name was Dionysus, the god of wine, ecstasy, and untamed madness. They say his festivals weren't like any form of worship you can imagine. There were no grand temples, no solemn altars. There was only the pulse of music, the frenzy of dance, and the relentless beating of drums that echoed through the forests, calling to something primal within the human soul. This was a wild, sacred space, a temporary kingdom where all rules were broken. The followers of Dionysus, known as the Maenads, were women who abandoned their homes and their inhibitions to join him. They would crown their heads with ivy, carry torches that burned with a mystical purple flame, and wield the thyrsus, a fennel stalk topped with a pine cone, a symbol of fertility and pleasure. Under the hypnotic moonlight, they would sing his name until dawn, drinking the sacred nectar of the vine, the wine that blurred the thin lines separating mortal from divine. It was a potent, intoxicating brew that promised to wash away all sorrows. But within that overwhelming joy lived a seed of chaos, for the gift of Dionysus was a double-edged blade. It granted the power to forget your pain, but it also held the power to make you forget yourself. It was a liberation so complete that it bordered on annihilation. As the ecstasy took hold, the Maenads would fall into a trance, seeing visions of gods, dancing stars, and the wild, beating heart of the world itself. They believed they could feel the very essence of life coursing through their veins. In their frenzied state, it's said they possessed superhuman strength. Stories tell of them tearing apart wild animals with their bare hands, not out of cruelty, but in a ritualistic act, believing them to be symbols of the god himself, participating in a cycle of death and glorious rebirth. This was the raw, untamed side of nature, a force both beautiful and terrifying. And sometimes Dionysus himself would appear among them, not as a distant, ethereal figure, but as one of them, a handsome, youthful god with wine-dark eyes and a mysterious smile. He wore a crown of thorns and ivy, embodying both suffering and celebration, a savior and a destroyer, all in one. He came not to command, but to join the dance, to lead the chorus of blissful chaos. Through these rituals, Dionysus taught mankind a profound and unsettling lesson: that joy and madness are siblings, that creation and destruction drink from the same cup. He showed that to truly feel alive, one must embrace the full spectrum of existence, the light and the shadow, the reason and the wildness. His worship was a release valve for the pressures of a highly structured society, a necessary descent into chaos to appreciate order. And then, just as suddenly as it began, it would end. When the feast was over and the first rays of dawn touched the valleys, a profound silence would return. The drums would cease, the songs would fade, and only the faint echo of laughter would remain on the wind. It was a haunting reminder that every pleasure, every moment of pure, unadulterated bliss, if held too tightly or for too long, can become its own kind of curse. The story of Dionysus isn't just a myth. It's a timeless exploration of the human desire for freedom and the beautiful, dangerous price we might pay to achieve it. Thanks so much for journeying back to ancient Greece with me. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales from mythology. See you next time.